Fugitive diamond merchant Mehul Choksi has been arrested. Last week, India managed to get 2611 terrorist Tahabur Rana extradited from the United States. Can we now get this economic offender? We look at the details and the case file right here on Newsroom.
Fugitive Choksi arrested. Looted 13,000 crore and escaped. Fled India in 2018. Now finally caught. India seeks deportation. Can Choksi be extradited? Big focus on Newstrack.
Fugitive diamond merchant Mehul Choksi, wanted in the 13,000 crore rupee PNB scam, has been arrested. He was held in Belgium, where he had reportedly been undergoing medical treatment. He is being held at a detention centre in Belgium and his health condition is said to be deteriorating. Indian authorities are now working to get him back to face trial.
Fugitive diamond trader Mehul Choksi arrested in Belgium. The 65-year-old accused in the 13,000 crore Punjab National Bank scam was arrested on Saturday. He was reportedly undergoing treatment at the time of his arrest. Sources indicate his health is in poor condition and that he is currently being treated for blood cancer. Choksi's arrest came at the request of Indian agencies, including the CBI and ED, which had secured non-bailable warrants against him from Mumbai courts. Choksi had fled India in 2018 and had been living in Antigua and Barbuda before recently relocating to Belgium.
All I can say is that he has been arrested and it's a client-attorney privilege communication. Other details I'll not be able to give you, but this I can confirm that yes, my client has been arrested. He is in prison at the moment and the legal remedy that we have is that we'll be filing an appeal and there we'll be making a request that he should be released and he should be permitted to contest his case without being in custody.
Choksi's extradition from Belgium to India, however, could prove difficult.
Mehul Choksi, his wallet is strong and he knows how to appoint the best of lawyers in the world. He will obviously fight tooth and nail to escape his extradition, like what other people have done in London, and Indian government is unable to get them back still now. So same thing could happen in Belgium also. What is the guarantee that he will be brought back? He has a fleet of lawyers and a wallet full of money.
Indian authorities are actively making efforts to get Mehul Choksi deported, though India and Belgium have a mutual extradition treaty.
देखिए मोदी सरकार आने के बाद जो इस टाइप के भ्रष्टाचारी थे या देश से बाहर गए थे, हमने भगोड़ा अधिनियम कानून भी लेकर आया और उसी का ही नतीजा रहा कि आज बेल्जियम में मेहुल चोक्सी गिरफ्तार हुआ है और कानूनी प्रक्रिया पूर्ण होते ही उसको भारत में लाया जाएगा.
Sources revealed that Choksi has not renounced either his Indian or Antiguan citizenship. Instead, he applied for an F-type residency card from Belgian authorities, which he successfully obtained. This is not the first time Choksi has been detained. In May 2021, he was held in Dominica for illegal entry. The CBI's efforts to get Choksi back suffered a setback after a court allowed him to return to Antigua for medical treatment. Subsequently, the Interpol Red Corner notice against him was withdrawn following his appeal. Bureau Report, India Today.
Mehul Choksi is accused of being a key player in the 13,000 crore rupee Punjab National Bank fraud case, which is one of the biggest banking scam in India's history. The scam involved Choksi and his nephew Nirav Modi. Together, they were able to take loans from foreign banks without following normal procedures. Here's how the scam was uncovered.
It is the second big coup for Indian law enforcement authorities in 1 week. Just days after 2611 accused Tahavur Rana was extradited to India, the Belgian police have arrested fugitive diamond merchant Mehul Choksi. Choksi is one of the prime accused in the 13,000 crore rupees PNB fraud scam and is in Antwerp for medical treatment. The arrest in Belgium was made after the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate reactivated extradition requests, despite the removal of an Interpol red notice against Choksi. As the founder and MD of Gitanjali Gems, the former billionaire allegedly engineered a fraud over many years which involved his nephew Nirav Modi, currently in a London prison. The two used fake letters of undertakings and foreign letters of credit at PNB's Brady House branch in the Fort area of Mumbai. This was done in collusion with rogue employees of the branch. The financial documents were used to raise credit from overseas banks. Along with Nirav Modi, guarantees worth 11,400 crore rupees were raised to get loans. The funding, instead of being used for importing goods like pearls as claimed, were allegedly diverted and laundered. According to reports, the SWIFT network used across the world for online transfers was gamed by officials to keep the bank in the dark. However, the 65-year-old businessman has remained a step ahead of the law. He purchased citizenship of Antigua and Barbuda in 2017, a year before the scam came to light. The West Indian islands do not have an extradition treaty with India. He fled the country on the 2nd of January 2018, just days before the scam broke. In 2021, Choksi was arrested in Dominica, allegedly while attempting to flee to Cuba by boat. Authorities deported him back to Antigua, though rejecting India's extradition demands. In March 2023, India suffered yet another blow with the Interpol revoking the notice issued against Choksi. In 2024, Choksi moved to the diamond capital of the world, Antwerp in Belgium. This was for the treatment of his blood cancer. He later secured permanent residency of Belgium. That did not stop Indian authorities from seeking his extradition again in an appeal which was heeded by the Belgian authorities and led to detaining him. Meanwhile, reports say that Choksi's bail application hearing will take place at least after 1 week, which gives India crucial headroom to prepare not only a legal case but a diplomatic one as well. Bureau Report, India Today Television.
India today has been able to track down the Belgian doctor who issued the medical certificate to Mehul Choksi. It's Dr. Mark Dock who issued a certificate on the 14th of February saying that Mehul Choksi has blood cancer, acute lymphoid leukemia, and this is the doctor whose certificate Choksi is citing to explain why he thinks he can't be sent to India because he's got a highly advanced stage of blood cancer. I want to show you an excerpt from the phone-in interview we did with the doctor in Belgium who's issued this certificate to Mehul Choksi. I also want to introduce my colleague Divesh Singh, who's done this exclusive for India Today. I'll speak to Divesh in a moment. Let's listen to Divesh's interview with the Belgian doctor.
Dr. Dox, this is Divesh Singh calling from India, from Indian news channel India Today.
I can't talk about patients, of course. Okay.
This letter that you had issued, this certificate that you had issued, has been challenged in Indian court by the Indian Law Enforcement Agency.
Yeah, but okay, you understand we cannot talk about patients on the telephone. Okay, it's all medical things which are not allowed to talk about. Okay.
No.
Divesh Singh now joins us. The doctor very naturally saying he can't speak about a patient's medical history. But you've read that report, which is also playing on our screen right now. It says that he's got acute lymphoid leukemia, which is essentially suggesting that he's got a highly advanced stage of blood cancer. Why do Indian investigative agencies think he's making it up, he's lying, that this is not true, that he doesn't have cancer?
Well, Rahul, in 2019, when Mehul Choksi was in Antigua, again, he at the same time, he had cited medical illness and his inability to travel to India. That time, Enforcement Directorate in court to his legal team had informed that a jet will be provided, a medical jet will be provided to Mehul Choksi with a medical team from the JJ hospital who can bring him from Antigua to India, can treat him, and he'll be treated on the route while he's in air as well. He'll be provided complete medical support. Once the ED declared this in court that he'll be provided full medical attention, he'll be provided with a air ambulance, he took back his application that he had filed in court that he was unable to travel. He withdrew that application. And now again, similar certificate has been brought in from Belgium, from a Belgian doctor, which has again been challenged by Enforcement Directorate. Very suspiciously, the certificate mentions that from February, certain date in 14th February to 31st of August, Mehul Choksi is unable to travel. He is 100% unable to travel, but he can move out of his residence. So that means it says that he is unable to travel to India or any other country, but he is okay to travel. It's okay to travel in Belgium itself. That is what the certificate says, and that is why we contacted the doctor to seek clarity on that, because that has been challenged by Enforcement Directorate in the special PMLA court in Mumbai. And recently we just have the Roznama, the exhibit, where ED told or informed court that this exhibit cannot be taken into consideration. It can be taken into consideration only during trial, but not for the proceedings of Fugitive Economic Offenders Act. That only can be considered, this certificate only can be considered during trial. And he has brought in certificates or medical letters earlier also from various doctors, like one in Antigua. So he will keep bringing letters or certificates from doctors, and he'll keep prolonging the process.
Devesh Singh, thank you for joining us. I want to go across to AP Singh. AP Singh is a highly renowned former chief of the Central Bureau of Investigation, India's premier investigative agency, understands the ins and outs of extradition and the case, has been tracking what's been happening in the Indian courts for a very long time. Mr. Singh, welcome. Thank you very much for joining us. Last week, you were on the show talking about the success that India had in extraditing Tahavu Rana. Everyone watching at this time would wonder, we've got Rana, can we get Choksi next?
Okay, first, just for the information of your viewers, let me explain to you that Interpol notice is only an alert. It's not a warrant of arrest. It is just an alert to various countries that this person is wanted by an Indian court. Now, it's up to that country whether it takes action or not. It's Interpol. It's not a binding kind of thing that, if there's an Interpol notice, he has to be arrested. So that clarification I wanted to give you. So that's not important. For extradition, there are a lot of other things. You have to establish dual criminality. Now, in economic offenses, dual criminality can be a bit of a tricky situation. So they have to accept, you have to give evidence, enough evidence to show that this was a crime in Belgium, and also that we have enough evidence. Then the third thing is that you have to say that, yes, human rights are going to be protected, his prison conditions, there'll be no torture, because they are very sensitive. EU countries are very sensitive on this point. But after saying that, I must congratulate the Indian agencies, I must congratulate the lawyers that they've been able to get him arrested. That's a big thing. To get him arrested.
So what's changed now? They've been trying to get him arrested for a long time. Explain to our viewers, Mr. Singh, what's changed now? We've been trying this for a while. He's now been arrested, but he's been in Belgium for quite a while.
Yeah, but I think that they had to prepare a case, right? They must have. They had to go to the Indian courts, get the proper a proper charge sheet, and then pass that on to the Belgium authorities, who would examine it and then only take action. It's not that you just have a warrant of arrest and they pick him up. They must have been satisfied that there is a preliminary case for arresting and putting him in custody, and then the further actions will take place. So that in fact we have had a lot of successes. Malia has already been his extradition has been ordered by every court. It is only the Home Secretary now who is not taking a decision to extradite him. Nirav Modi is in prison for 6 years. I think that's a big achievement. I mean, okay, they've not been able to get him to India, but 6 years in a UK prison, he's still there. So we have had good successes. There have been some drawbacks like the Sanjay Bhandari and one or two other cases where the courts have not agreed with India. But
no, so can Mehul Choksi, Mr. Singh, get away in Belgium by saying, I have blood cancer? I have Karnail Singh also joining us. Karnail Singh is a very renowned enforcement director. Before I speak to him, I want you to explain. Mehul Choksi claims he's got cancer. He's got this medical certificate. We just played that out from the doctor who issued that certificate. He's got advanced cancer. ED thinks that's not true. But if he's got this certificate, can that by itself be reason for him not to be sent back to India, Mr. Singh?
Yes, it can. If it's genuine, it can. Because medical grounds is very important. Human rights is very important. So all these things matter, because if he says that I cannot get the proper treatment in an Indian jail, they'll torture me, they will not give me the proper medical assistance, because you must remember that his wife is a Belgian citizen also. She is a Belgian citizen, so he has that protection. He's not illegally in Belgium, and whatever people may say, but he's not illegally in Belgium. His wife is a Belgian citizen. So he has some rights in Belgium itself.
Karnail Singh ji, welcome. I must tell our viewers, I'm sure you know, Karnail Singh is one of the sharpest ED officers. Lots of big cases, particularly on terrorism, financing, to his credit. So brings a wealth of insights. Now the ED thinks Mehul Choksi is lying about this blood cancer. He looks quite badly off to me. I mean, in the wheelchair, and I have no idea whether he has cancer, and that's something which is very, very private to his own health. But he does look badly off. Are you concerned that Mehul Choksi can use the pretext of being terribly unwell and therefore not come back to India?
See, he will use all the pretexts, whether it is the conditions in the Indian prisons. He can cite like Vijay Mallya had cited in UK, or the health issues. But the question will come, how do we satisfy the courts in the Belgium that we have the facilities to treat him in India? So if we can convince that, then there is a very, very high possibility that he'll come to India.
Why is this happened now? Because we had that botched operation in Antigua to try and bring him back. He's now been in Belgium for a while. I asked the same question to AP Singh. Why are we seeing, from a layman's perspective, Tahavur Rana last week, Mehul Choksi being arrested now, it makes for great headlines. But what's happening behind the scenes? Tell us that.
See, number one is the Indian agencies have come to know that where is he at the particular point of time. So last year, somewhere in, I think, October, Indian agencies came to know that he's there. Then we have to get the court orders for extradition. That doesn't take much time. But what happens is extradition is the process in which two things are required. Two things are involved. One is the political bureaucratic decision, and second is the judicial process. The political bureaucratic again depends upon the diplomacy. That means Indian government is able to convince the government in Belgium that we have a strong case, and therefore Belgium government is satisfied that yes, they have a strong case, and therefore what happens in extradition is now the Belgium government will go to the court of Belgium asking for extradition of that person, and that clearly indicates that the first hurdle we have crossed, and that is the reason of some delay, because the government has to be convinced at that place.
I have Vijay Agarwal joining me. He's Mehul Choksi's lawyer. Vijay Agarwal is great for his clients, but bad for Indian agencies because he manages to do things like get their red corner notice, etc. removed. Vijay Agarwal, everyone watching, most 99% of those watching would say, bring Mehul Choksi back. We got Tahavur Rana back last time. Last week, we get Choksi back next. Why do you think Choksi should not be sent back? How do I know that you and Choksi are not lying about claiming he has blood cancer when actually he doesn't?
One thing is that you don't talk to lawyer in that tone that you are not lying. I'm defending my client, right? I could say that you are lying about it. When you are talking about Sushant Singh Rajput, you were lying about it. When you are talking about 2G case, that's not the way. You don't address a lawyer like this, Rahul, even for
So I
your
asked
show.
you a
You could have
question.
spoken
I
for my
asked you a
client.
question. Just make your point.
You could
I
speak
also
for
said
my
you're good
client,
for your
not
clients.
for me.
You're like a very smart lawyer.
I would say,
Cherry
you are trying
picking
to
what
play to the
suited
gallery,
you
Rahul.
and trying to pick a fight. The fact is, I
That's not
also
how
said
to
you are
start
good
a
for your
conversation.
clients.
That's not how you start a conversation. You could say that how do you feel that your client is not lying? That could have been the question. You don't target to the lawyer, right? So you
Why
need
don't
some
you
lessons.
answer my question
You need some
instead?
lessons. I will answer if the question is proper. And if it is if it is business-like and if it is an educated and a properly put question, then I'm answering. Now, still I will answer. So first of all, let me give back to you what you gave to me. One. Now you said that the client is not lying. These are the documents. That is for the agencies to verify. These are the documents sent to me by my client. I have put it in the court, and it is for the agencies to verify. If one can say one is lying. So everyone said that, okay, I was a lawyer in 2G scam case. They said it's a big case. What happened? But people say, Beaufort is a big case. It happens. You were running the show for Sushant Singh Rajput. What happened? Arushi Talwar. What happened? There have been a lot of other cases. Tarun Tejpal case. What happened? So you never know. At this moment, my client, as per Indian law, is presumed to be innocent. He is an accused, not a convict. He is a muljim, not a mujrim. So he is to defend himself.
Sure.
Now, please see, he is an old person. And if you do some homework, he has been under the treatment since 2012, much before the cases happened. So he did not run away from India. When the cases happened, that time also he was getting treated in New York. So we are defending the client. I mean, if I defend a person, suppose there is a case tomorrow on you or your channel or anybody. So anybody that the case can
Okay,
be
like a good lawyer, you're making
anybody.
a big deal of a slight point that I made while introducing
No, it's
you.
not a slight
But let me
for
ask you the next question.
For you, it is not big. For me, it was big. That you were saying that you are not lying. You'd never talk to a lawyer like this.
I never said that. I said, how do I know that you're not lying? That was my question.
You did say that,
I said, how do I know you're not lying was the way, and everyone who's watching would recognize that. But that's not the point. I'll park that on the side. When did you last speak to Mehul Choksi? What did you tell you?
I spoke to him a week back, and say the man proposes, God disposes. I was to go and meet the lawyers in Belgium. So I was flying to Belgium on 17th. Now today only I cancelled all my tickets and everything because I was to meet him on 17th evening. I was supposed to meet him. But, then I got the news that he has been arrested. And I'm also being told that for the hearing is not going to take place for the next 5 to 6 days. That's the procedure there. The application, the lawyers are going to be moving in a day or two, my Belgium counterparts. And then I'm told that they don't give him a hearing till 5 days. So then there's no point.
Are you also in touch with Preeti Choksi, Mehul Choksi's wife?
That's a client attorney privilege communication. I'm sorry, I'll not be able to answer that, Rahul.
Sure, but what are you picking up? So if I were to ask you to explain to our viewers the Choksi point of view on this arrest, because India and Indian agencies think now with these arrests, they have a real chance of bringing the man back.
Gee, that's 100%. And as Mr. Karnal Singh also said very correctly, that they have set the ball rolling. The warrant was sent way back in November 2024. Right? So it was lying. So 100% they have set the ball rolling, number one. Number two is that this is the first step that the man is arrested. And now we are going to appeal against it. And we will, in India, they call it bail. There they call it, I'm being told that they call it the freedom application. We'll be praying for freedom. And we say that, okay, while we are out, then we should be contesting our case. So that happened in the case of Vijay Mallya, that he got bail, but this Nirav Modi has been unlucky. He did not get bail. So first is the getting the man out, and then we'll be contesting.
So why did Mallya get bail and Nirav Modi didn't, and what are the parallels and conclusions for the Choksi case?
They said for Nirav Modi, that time I was representing Nirav Modi also. For Nirav Modi, they said that he did not have any community ties. In India, they get it roots in the society. In Nirav Modi, they said he does not have community ties, so he will be a flight risk from London. Vijay Mallya has a house there, and everyone had there. So Nirav Modi's family was in US. So they branded him as a flight risk. That is why they don't grant him bail. But just now, when I was trying to join the channel, I think somebody was speaking that, because he's from Belgium. So I feel that because of two reasons, Mr. Mehul Choksi has a very good chance for bail. There is one. And please see, and his RCN also got cancelled. See, and there are a number of agencies who have opined that yes, he was abducted by the Indian agencies from Dominica and he was taken to Antigua and his human rights were violated. So because of this mistake and the goof up already committed, so we stand a very, very good chance because this Interpol's observation will really come in handy. Second is that he is a sick man, undoubtedly, that he's been under treatment not
Okay,
from today.
hold
from
that thought for a
2012.
moment. Let me get a counter from Karnail Singh.
Please.
Now, when the likes of Vijay Agarwal argue that he's not a flight risk, his address in Belgium is known, he's not a fugitive from the law, which is the basis that they had to get his red corner notice revoked. If you are arguing currently on behalf of the Enforcement Directorate, what would you say, Mr. Singh? Karnail ji, you're on mute.
See, basic argument is that he's moving from one country to another country. Initially, he went to New York, then shifted to another country, then shifted to another country. So there is a possibility that somehow he can sneak out of the country. There would be argument against what Mr. Vijay Agarwal says. There will be argument given by our advocates on our side to nullify the arguments given by the other side. That would be
this botched operation in Dominica. I mean, of course, we can just deny it, but they will side, they'll kind of build circumstantial evidence and say they tried to abduct him, his human rights were violated by Indian agencies. Then what do we say?
See, I don't believe that will have any impact on this particular extradition, because once the extradition ball is made rolling, that means their government is satisfied. That is number one. Number two is whether that was botched.
Okay, just 1 second. Hold that thought. You're saying if the extradition ball starts rolling and if Choksi has been arrested, you think that it is prima facie admission that the Belgium government is convinced of India's case? Is that what you're saying, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. Because they go to the court, they arrest the person only when the government is satisfied. I told you there are two processes. One is the political process or the government process, and another is the judicial process. Now,
does the government consider the evidence before coming to the conclusion about whether it is satisfied or not, or is that more a political decision?
No, government considers the evidences also. They consider the dual criminality also before moving that, which is a basic requirement whether for the extradition. The same thing should be crime in that country, same thing should be crime in our country. That is dual criminality. Unless that is there, the government will not move. And I told you previously that who will fight the case on our side, of the Indian side in their courts? It will be the Belgium government. Their prosecutor would be there. The prosecutors and the agencies would be only helping their prosecutor in
That's a very important point you make, and I want Vijay Agarwal to respond to Mr. Singh's assertion that the fact that Choksi is being arrested demonstrates that the government in Belgium is convinced about the fact that he's committed an offence which is as much an offence in Belgium as it is in India.
No, I mean, I think that Mr. Karnail Singh, I partly agree with him that when they move, they consider the principle of dual criminality, which is that the offense that India is alleging, that should be the offense in Belgium also. The paper should be complete. So that means that it is technically complete, but it is a first step. First of all, whenever there is an extradition request, suppose if there was a person in India and the extradition request would have come from somewhere else, the first step is that you arrest the person, and then the person says, no, I want to contest my extradition. Otherwise, you have to first arrest the person because you want to deport him. So you take him into the custody. So I would say that arrest is a procedural arrest. And second, very good point you raised, Rahul.
No, that's not what Karnail Singh is saying. He's been director of the Enforcement Directorate. He knows these things. He's saying arrest means the Belgium government for what it is worth, not the courts. The government has considered the case and they think they've got evidence against him.
I have great regard for Mr. Karnail Singh, but I always umpire the ball. I don't umpire the player. So everyone knows their subject. So I said I respectfully disagree with him. I
want to go and get AP Singh's perspective on this. We've got a difference of opinion. I want your expert opinion on this. When the government of Belgium, Mr. Singh, arrests someone like a Mehul Choksi, has it considered the evidence put up by investigative agencies and come to the conclusion that there seems to be a case against him? Or is it just, as Vijay Agarwal says, a procedural arrest?
See, definitely no. Well, it's a prima facie arrest. It's a prima facie arrest. Now they have to go into the documents and make sure that it is correct. But let me tell you, I mean, I'm not trying to be negative about this, but EU, it is very tough to get an extradition out of EU. I'm very amazed that they have arrested him. And
but it happened with Abu Salim. That was in a terror case in 1993, but it happened with Abu Salim.
Yeah, terror case. After that, it hasn't happened after that. I told you, we tried Kim Davies, who said, I have committed a crime, I have dropped all these arms, but they said, no, human rights, prison conditions, we are not sending him back. So I don't think you've got much success from EU yet. Tahir Rana, yes, Americans are totally different. If President Trump says something and, the Supreme Court will agree and they send them back, they don't go so much into the judicial process as the European Union does. And they're very, very conscious of human rights, health, and dual criminality. I mean, you have to be able to prove that there was a proper offense in this case, which is the same, which is criminal in Belgium as well.
I want to go across
it's going to be a tough haul. I think it's a major step that he has been arrested.
I want to go across to Munish Pandey. He leads our coverage of the Enforcement Directorate and the CBI. Munish, someone like AP Singh, who's been director of the CBI, says, let's not get our hopes high up. This is very difficult. The EU doesn't typically send back economic offenders. Salim was different because that is a terror case. You've been speaking to senior officers in the agencies. How confident are they that they'll get Choksi back?
Well, Rahul, the Indian agencies, both the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate, they are hopeful that something positive has happened finally, because remember, it has been cat and mouse game between Indian agencies and Mehul Choksi. Just a week before the FIR was lodged, Mehul Choksi ran from the country in 2018. Later, he was spotted in US, but before the Indian agencies could have made the formal request with the US authorities, he fled to Antigua. Later, he was, spotted in Dominica, but again, he fled back to Antigua. So there have been, back and forth as far as Indian agencies and Mehul Choksi is concerned. But finally, 6 months back, when he was spotted in Belgium, on the request and on the basis of the documents given by Indian agencies to the Belgium authorities, he has been placed under arrest since April 12. So at least there is a hope that he can be brought back to India if the extradition proceeding starts. But Rahul, it is not going to be easy. The Indian agencies know this part very well, that humanitarian ground is something which is going to be extremely important. And Mehul Choksi and Vijay Lawyer, I think he is ready with this strategy also, that he is going to play with this humanitarian angle, that he is not well, he is suffering from blood cancer, and he should not be sent back to India. And recently, Rahul, this is important to point out, that in Sanjay Bhandari's case, in the UK court denied extradition of Sanjay Bhandari because of the prison conditions in India. So these are the types of arguments which will take place before the Belgium authorities, before the Belgium court, and this is why it is going to be very tricky. But so far what we have been given to understand is that both the officials from the Central Bureau of Investigation and the Enforcement Directorate, they will be traveling to Belgium. They will be assisting the prosecution in Belgium, and they will try to make a case that based on the evidence, when Nirav Modi can be arrested in UK, based on the same evidence, even Mehul Choksi should remain inside the jail, and also extradition proceedings should start against him.
SV Hari Prasad is the whistleblower in this case. I see Karnail Singh ji has his finger up. I'm going to go back to him in just a moment. But as the whistleblower, Mr. Hari Prasad, how significant do you think this arrest is? From what I can gather, getting an economic offender back to India from the EU is tough. Terrorism is different. This is an economic offense. And we've seen in the UK, citing jail conditions, his health, etc. It may be difficult. The one other way of looking at it is he's at least in prison. Like Nirav Modi is in jail in the United Kingdom. Is that not a step in the right direction, you think?
Obviously, it is a step in the right direction. But what is the crux of the matter? Arresting him and putting him in the jail is the crux of the matter, or bringing back the money that he has looted from India is the important matter. That we have to discuss about it. Now, all the procedures are there, all the legalities are there, but what is the crux? Why?
So
What will
explain to our
happen if
viewers
he's
watching
okay?
how
If
much
it
of the
is
money
an-
that he looted has come back in your estimate and how much is still missing?
I have no idea. I don't think any money has come from
No, I read
abroad.
some 2,000 crore rupees
Little
have been
asset,
recovered.
whatever the assets he has left here that have been seized, but that figure is also not out to the public domain. So I really don't know how much was the looted amount and how much was the amount seized and realized.
What do you think is most likely to happen next, Mr. Hari Prasad?
Most probably he could be either granted a bail and he would be free, or he would be in the prison. What else can happen?
Karnail Singh ji, if he gets bail,
Could be very difficult.
like was the
Sorry?
case with, do you see parallels with Sanjay Bhandari's case? This point that Munish makes, that the court in England apparently cited prison conditions in India as a reason to not extradite Bhandari?
See, I don't know about Bhandari's case, but in the Vijay Mallya case also, same issues were raised about the Indian jail conditions. And then we had sent the evidences, the videos of where he would be kept in the Indian prison. And the UK court was satisfied in that particular case. Yes, Indian prison conditions are okay. So I don't say that it depends upon how do you present the case in a particular thing. The Indian agencies would be presenting the evidences in the Belgium courts also, and I hope they would be able to convince the Belgium court that the jail conditions in India are good and the person can be sent.
Vijay Agarwal has his finger up, so I'm going to give him an opportunity to make his interjection. Sir, आप ये सरकार के लिए क्यों नहीं कर लेते? आप भी कुछ पुण्य कमा लो, सरकार के लिए आगे कर लिया करो आके.
जब सरकार के लिए करना होगा, जब सरकार अफोर्ड करेगी तब सरकार के लिए भी करेंगे, क्यों नहीं करेंगे? हमें तो जो भी you asked me to argue in front of the tree, I'll go and argue in front of the tree, provided that somebody is affording my time. 1. 2 is Karnail Singh ji ने बिल्कुल सही बताया, and Mr. Munish का भी homework बड़ा perfect है. You are 100% right. Nirav Modi's example is an example against me. That judgment is going to haunt me. It was held that the Indian prison condition is right. Sanjay Bhandari case is a case in my favor where it was held that the prison conditions are not right. So then you have to weigh, and then it is the client's luck and the argument. And as Mr. Karnail Singh said very correctly, that it depends upon presenting the case, and then you go with it. But one thing I must tell you, my instructions are that the evidence has not gone yet from India. Only a request has gone. So, all this bogey of they are seeing prima facie, weighing the evidence and being satisfied. No. My understanding is that, but you get a fractured information, that the evidence and that file which goes, that has not gone as yet. It is only a formal request that has gone with an open-ended warrant of 2018 and 2021. So they have arrested on the basis of an open-ended warrant. They have not looked at the evidence. So there is no question of any prima facie satisfaction. It is only a warrant. Like even in India, if the warrant goes from one state to another state, they will simply execute the warrant. They will not look at the case because a court has issued the warrant. So it is the principle of comity of the court. And in basis of the treaties, so their courts are respecting the decision of this court. They are not going to assess at the stage of the arrest. They will assess it later. That's when our turn will come and the full dress trial will take place.
Mr. A.P. Singh, in my experience, it also depends to a great extent on the political equation between the two countries. How committed and determined is the government of Belgium to do India a favor in some way by sending someone like a Choksi back, by putting its political weight behind it? What's your reading of the state of play between India and Belgium at this time, and the determination of the Belgian government to send him back to India?
See, this government and judiciary are totally independent in these countries. They don't, unlike the US, they are not linked together. So whatever the government may want, the judiciary is totally independent and they will take their own decisions. As I told you in the Kim Davey case, the Danish government wanted to send him back. The judiciary said no. Finally, the Supreme Court. So no matter how much the government wants in this, and in UK it was the opposite. The judiciary said Mallya should be extradited. The government put its foot down. So far there's been no extradition because the Home Secretary has not approved it. So they are totally they're not on the same they're not on board together. They are totally independent. They will take totally independent decisions.
We've had a very insightful conversation. I want to see Vijay Agarwal argue in front of a tree. That would be very nice. Neither Mr. AP Singh, nor Karnail Singh, nor I, nor the Government of India can afford to do that. But it would be interesting to see in any case. But for the time being, Karnail Singh ji, Mr. AP Singh, for taking out time and joining me on this broadcast and enriching our viewers with the depth of your insights. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Once hailed as a business success story, Choksi's downfall was as swift as it was spectacular. With Interpol notices, a pending extradition request and now a fresh arrest in Belgium, his legal troubles have deepened. Here's a look at how Choksi's glittering diamond empire crumbled.
Once a prominent name in the global diamond and jewelry trade, Choksi's empire began to collapse after the CBI and the ED uncovered a massive banking scam in 2018. Choksi, the promoter of the Gitanjali Group, was accused of orchestrating more than 6,000 crore fraud in connivance with bank officials of Punjab National Bank. Soon after, operations of Gitanjali Gems and its affiliated entities came to a grinding halt. Multiple premises linked to the group were raided and assets were frozen, including bank accounts and properties. On September 10, 2024, the court authorized the valuation and auction of attached assets worth 2,565 crore rupees belonging to the Gitanjali Group. Proceeds from these auctions are being deposited in fixed deposits under the bank's names. However, the financial maze extended far beyond Indian borders. Preeti Choksi, Mehul's wife, was not just a passive participant, but an active beneficiary of the scam. In 2013, she allegedly collaborated to float 3 offshore entities.
My husband was a businessman. He never had an NPA until this whole saga of PNB started, alleged saga. My husband is a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda, and it is the duty of Antigua and Barbuda to look after their citizens. They must take him back.
Once hailed as a business success story, Choksi's downfall was as swift as it was spectacular. Bureau Report, India Today.